Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. You're watching AMS Live with me, boy, and this is the Polderbaan for a Friday morning of arrivals. Welcome to one and all. It is overcast, as you guys can see. It is dry at the moment, although there is an occasional minute droplet that falls. It's more like 100% humidity. No precipitation of significance was expected, although it was said that some rain showers might form land inward later during the day here and there. So it is another day of watching the weather radar as well. The drizzle you probably won't pick up on the radar, so it's just pragmatism. For now it looks good. We are expecting two 747s within the hour, I think. A 747-400 and a 747-800. Of course, the daily Emirates A380 is also underway. Right now, parallel arrivals 24 and 18 right are once again being used for departures at the moment. I think the center runway will close again later in the morning, making this the only runway for arrivals, as we've seen so many times before. So yeah, let's just see where things will take us. Here is the first airplane coming through the clouds. It is British Airways arriving from London Heathrow, Airbus A320, flight 436, current flight time 14 minutes, and this is a 20-year-old airplane. First flight was in May 2003. Looks like the right light is defective. Looks like they might need to change a light bulb. We're once again standing in line with the first exit of this runway. Now, this A320 did not take that. If it had taken the first exit, we would have seen a nice butt shot. So overall, this is what the weather looks like. It is a bit monotonous. It is grey all over. This is looking to the north. And this is looking to the east. And this is looking to the south. This is looking to the west. The wind is coming more or less from this direction, I think. Let me also take you guys through the ticker in a moment. See what the weather is. Hey, what's this? Interesting. Why is there an Aer Lingus moving towards IJmuiden? Is that a mistake of flight radar? Huh, interesting. We'll have to see what happened there. In the meantime, a lot of people already tuned in. Goedemorgen Remco. Nick spielt zo 2. Good morning. Jean-Yves, salut, bonjour. Gos, goedemorgen. Christina, goedemorgen. Wendy, goedemorgen. Paul Tripod, goedemorgen. Good morning. Jackie, goedemorgen. Good morning. Rowenda, goedemorgen. Good morning. Josegi, good morning, my friend. Droogbier, goedemorgen. Lars, goedemorgen. Julian, good morning. Rick, goedemorgen. Pep Transit, guten Morgen. Remco, goedemorgen. So many people already. Blackburst, good morning, man. Jannis, good morning. Leen, goedemorgen, good morning. Now, if you look in the ticker right now, you see the weather. It's from 7:25 Zulu time, so that is 20 minutes ago. Wind is blowing from 240 degrees, so that is southwest, with 11 knots. The wind direction is variable between 210 knots and 270 knots. Visibility is 10 kilometers or more. And then a couple of layers of clouds. Few clouds at 500 feet, broken clouds at 600 feet, broken clouds at 1,100 feet. The temperature is 19 degrees Celsius, the dew point is 18 degrees Celsius, hence the high humidity and the small droplets every now and then, without it being actually rain. QNH is 1,005 hectopascals, so that is the current air pressure. No significant changes in the upcoming 2 hours are expected. Now, let me minimize the... Right, yeah. So there was an Aer Lingus A320. I had to minimize the chat window so I could have flight radar on my phone full screen. That was on arriving and then made a right-hand turn towards the west. And now seems to be coming back to the glide slope again. So maybe they weren't ready for their lining up, or maybe ATC was late with giving them clearance. I don't know, but an interesting pattern, making a 360 and a little bit of an elaborate 360. Now the next airplane to arrive, Royal Air Maroc, arriving from Nador. Let me also re-enable split screen so I can see your chat messages. There we go. Right, so Royal Air Maroc flight 1680, arriving from Nador in Morocco. It is a Boeing 737-800. Left Morocco 2 hours and 34 minutes ago, and this airplane is 13 years old. Its first flight was in April of the year 2010. Hey there, Jeremy, good morning. Good morning, Martin. Jillard, goedemorgen. Hope everybody is doing well on this, over here, somewhat gloomy Friday morning. Royal Air Maroc also forgoing the first exit. We do get a little bit of butt shot, temporary and more far away, but it was a little butt shot nonetheless. Haven't seen the firefighters yet. Hoping that they are going to do their rounds shortly. I'm glancing over at the fire station. I don't see any activity just yet. Don't know if they maybe were really early. Looking in the water, there's not much activity going on. A few birds are flying above the water. That is interesting to see. Back and forth. But no birds in the water. So this is Air Astana flight 903. It is an Airbus A321neo. It is arriving from Attirau. Flight time 6 hours 11 minutes. 5-year-old airplane. First flight May 2018. Bloodshot coming in, she's taking the first exit. There you go. Lance, good morning. Sander, goedemorgen. Catlicious, Oz, good morning. Alvin, good morning. Oi, dickhead. Good arvo, mate. Helene, goedemorgen. Mathieu, goedemorgen. Good morning. Right. Now, here is that A320 that did a little extra round around the block, circle around the block. Aer Lingus flight 602, arriving from Dublin, A320 200, current flight time 1 hour and 8 minutes. She's 12 years old, first flight was in April 2011. Will we see the spoilers go down? Not from this angle. Hola Preta. Jolande, goedemorgen, good morning. Now, no time to waste, the next airplane already almost setting foot on the ground. Embraer 190 arriving from Prague. And actual usage of the reverse thrust there. Clearly audible. And the pilot also opting to exit quickly. Next up will be an A320neo from SAS. Hey there Dale, good morning mate. Already getting closer by. SAS flight 821 A320neo, origin Oslo, 1 hour and 32 minutes of flight time. It is a brand new airplane according to Flight Radar, which means that it is a year or less old. And the first flight of this airplane was last October. After this airplane we are going to see the first heavy of the day, a Dreamliner arriving from LAX. No, sorry, JFK. JK. Good morning, Planes by Rick. Good morning to Soviet SSR. And also, good morning to Rick, who is sitting Brom, who is sitting with Rick. Haven't finished my coffee yet, you guys can probably tell. Indeed, Remco, extremely quiet at SAS. Now hopefully this plane will not be so quiet. This is KLM flight 644, Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner arriving from New York JFK. 6 hours and 19 minutes of flight time. 2-year-old airplane, first flight December 2020. Hey Tina, good morning. Hope you're well. Good to see you again. Arun, good morning. Welcome to you too, my friend. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, welcome to you guys as well. You're watching AMS Live with me, boy. It is arrivals at the Polderbaan once again. Not as windy as it has been over the last couple of weeks. Not as dry as yesterday. Not as wet as yesterday, fortunately. Hoping that we are going to have a dry stream. There is high humidity in the air. Some drizzle here and there might form. Some showers. Now, the weather radar is never good at picking that up, the drizzle. So let's just hope for the best. Got my umbrellas with me in case of need, but hopefully it won't be necessary. This is Delta Airlines Flight 74, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia, Airbus A350-900. Flight time of this airplane right now, 7 hours and 28 minutes, and she is 4 years old. First flight was in February 2019. Tina asks, will I be there for the Silkway? Is that one of the two 747s underway right now, expected within the hour? My intention is to stick around until the landing of the A380, weather permitting, so the answer is probably yes then. Unless you are referring to unless you are referring to a 747 that will arrive after the A380. But you probably weren't. Hey there, Mateus, good morning. Good to see you again, my friend. Rick says yesterday the A380 started from the Polderbaan. There have been moments where the wind was blowing from the northwest and when they reversed the runway usage. At the moment the wind is blowing from the southwest again, so that means that for now this runway will only be used for arrivals. Now A320 Neo arriving from Easyjet, arriving from London Gatwick, flight 28674, flight time 40 minutes. Brand new airplane, here too, first flight October last year, less than a year old. Very much a KLM style landing, keeping up the speed, vacate late, sooner at the gate. Another Airbus narrow body before the next big bird is expected. Now unfortunately we cannot see the big bird just yet. We can see the A321 that will be landing next. Air France flight 1340, arrival from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Flight time 45 minutes, A321-200, 25 years old already. First flight of this airplane was in January 1998, so it is a millennial. And we should be seeing a Qatar 777 after this airplane, arriving from Doha. Speaking of Middle Eastern airlines, I also updated the emoji from Emirates. It is now the current ribbon tail. Cannot use outdated livery symbols, of course, so it has been renewed. Alrighty then, time to see the arrival of the next airplane. 777 from Qatar. Qatar cargo flight 8201, arriving from Doha. 777 freighter. Flight time 6 hours 23 minutes. She is 7 years old. About to touch down. Hey there Patch, good morning. Berend, goedemorgen. Glad you like it, Elvin. And Soviet SSR also loving it. Thank you so much. It is subtle, but it does look better, doesn't it? They don't update their livery often, but when they do so stylishly. Hey there, is it Zan? Is that how you pronounce your first name? Good morning, Dennis. Bom dia. Hey, Ome Gerrit, goedemorgen. Nice to see so many people tune in this morning. Hope everybody is doing well. It is another morning of arrivals here at Schiphol Airport. If you just tuned in, it is overcast. We might see a few rain droplets here and there now and then. Hard to say where and when exactly. There is high humidity in the air. We have had precipitation overnight and also yesterday the entire day, so it's really humid. 90 degrees Celsius. It feels warm because of the humidity. The wind is blowing from the southwest. There is a little bit of crosswind from the right once again for the airplanes now landing. They land from north to south. The wind is blowing from the southwest, so there is a bit of crosswind, but it isn't much. The total wind speed is, what was it again? I have to look in the ticker to see. Well, isn't showing the meter right now. Less than 10 knots if I recall correctly. This is a Boeing 737 from Corendon, coming back from Ibiza. Butt shot incoming. Now Ibiza, the Balearic Islands, 2 hours flying approximately, and this is an airplane that had a flight time of 2 hours and 5 minutes. 23 years old, first flight December 1999. Hey, goedemorgen Paul. Checking in from the bunker in Noordwijk. So, if we get invaded, Paul will be the safest survivor among us. Although if you reside in AMC Medical Center or VU Medical Center, you're also in a nuclear bombshell. Concrete. Thick concrete, really sturdy buildings. Next up, KLM, flight 1822. It is an Embraer 190 arriving from Berlin. Flight time an hour, now almost touching down. 9-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in November 2013. Indeed, Paul, the designated survivor. If an atom bomb hits, it's up to you to repopulate the Earth, or at least this part of the Earth. No pressure. Hey Arjan, goedemorgen, good morning. Welcome to the show, my friend. Next up is another KLM airplane, 737-800, arriving from Barcelona, flight 1662. Bit shorter flight time than the one coming in from Ibiza just now. Now this airplane is underway for an hour and 48 minutes. It is a 24-year-old airplane. Began flying in January of the year 1999. Just before the millennial bug struck. So it has been in contact with the millennium bug, it has survived, so it has antibodies and has also survived this landing. And once again, KLM, stereotypical landing, keeping up the speed relatively, stay on the runway a bit longer, take a later exit. Visibility is still good at ground level, 10 kilometers or more according to the meter. You can see clearly that the tower is visible, the main ATC control tower. Right, now ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. The first queen of the day is getting close by. Thank you for the kind words there, Gerrit. I'm sure they have nice touches. It's apples and oranges really. The downside of this airport is, unless you are doing a live stream from the panorama rooftop terrace, you aren't able to see a lot of action, unless maybe, yeah, there you can use the parking garage, but then you are far removed from the action, unlike when you're standing next to the runway like over here. It's a different vibe. A lot of different airports you can see both inbound traffic and outbound traffic in the same stream. Here it is hard to see that, so it's a different dynamic, really. Jonas, goedemorgen. Tony, goedemorgen. Good morning. Preacher, good morning. And Ronald's checking in from sunny Zanzibar. Wow. That is nice. Well, the Queen has become visible. Here she is, the first of the two that we are going to see in the stream today. Air China Cargo, flight 1001, Boeing 747-400, arriving from Chengdu in China. Current flight time 10 hours and 5 minutes. Right, now, maybe you buffs, some of the buffs know what this means. It is a 7474 FT, And then between parentheses it says F again. I have no idea what it means. I think it is maybe a converted 400 into a freighter. Not sure. It is at least a 17-year-old airplane, according to Flight Radar. First flight December 2005. Well, the landing was top-notch, but it could have used a bit more reverse thrust, I should think. Right, spoilers have been lowered. We will see the flaps retract any moment now, hopefully. I think they're going up. Yeah, they are retracting. In the meantime, thank you so much for your super sticker there, Alvin. A red hand pointing up. Up, up and away. Thank you so much, Alvin. Ah, okay, Jeremy confirming it is a converted freighter. There's sometimes entire alphabets written behind the type, and I wonder then, what does it all mean? It was a little bit of a wheelie contestant, wasn't it, Gerrit? He did keep up the nose wheel longer than I would have thought. Then again, he applied the reverse thrust less than I had hoped. Bit of a mixed bag. Here is a CRJ 900 coming in from Stockholm, SAS, flight 1553. Touching down after an hour and 40 minutes of flying. 14-year-old airplane. First flight was in 2008. Teensy tiny little spoilers. They look minuscule compared with those of the 747 before it. Ah, thanks for the explanation there, Jeremy. Hey Greet, goedemorgen. Het is gezellig weer, isn't it? Good morning, Liberator 74 as well. You did choose a right time to start tuning in. There is a second 747 expected, and we're also still awaiting the daily flight of the Emirates A380, which normally arrives around 1 PM local time. Not sure if it is on schedule today. That I haven't seen, I haven't checked. Now, what is going to come next? Lufthansa A319 arriving from Munich by the looks of it. Now, the water situation, there are some birds in the water. Further south, see a coot. And those look like more coots to me. Yeah, by the looks of it, all coots. Further up or down, depending on which way you look at it, I'm not sure if I'm seeing more birds. Over here in the vicinity of where I'm standing, not much going on. Also further up north, is that one? I don't know, maybe there is one. I think there is some activity going on. Yeah, that's a crane by the looks of it. Let's enable digital zoom just for the occasion. There we go. Yeah, that is a crane. I have to fixate the camera, lock the tripod, otherwise the vibrations become too severe. Yeah, not sure what it's doing there, but moving ground from one place to another, obviously. Now, it is otherwise a quiet morning over here. There's a pedestrian walking. Looks like a recreational walk. We have one man and a grandchild sitting here also. Or is that one, I think grandpa and grandma and a grandchild perhaps. Also some parents and young children over here. Further behind the man are also some people. They are at the Spottersplatz, I think, or in the area between the Spottersplatz and the cycling path. There's also a fence. Don't see any people standing over there. Over at the fire station, it all seems to be quiet still for the moment. No, Alvin, no dogs. I haven't seen any dogs here either this morning. We're a bit animal deprived over here this morning. Not sure why that is, but well, of course we know that ducks like to sleep in. That much we have established, but this is Lufthansa flight 2302. Airbus A319 arriving from Munich. Flight time 1 hour and 6 minutes. 12-year-old airplane. First flight November 2010. After that we are going to see a Boeing 737 arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle from KLM. Hey, good morning 68 Twig. Good morning Patrick. Renee 1628, good morning. Right. Next up, KLM flight 1224, Boeing 737-800, arrival from Paris Charles de Gaulle. Flight time 44 minutes. It is a 10-year-old airplane, first flight May 2013. Wind does seem to be picking up a little bit. Let me see if I can update the ticker in a minute. Then, ladies and gentlemen, Queen number 2 will be coming next. Boeing 747-800. Let me in the meantime see if I can update the ticker with the latest wind and weather update. Wind seems to be picking up a little bit. Maybe that may necessitate me to re-enable image stabilizer. I have turned it off for the time being. But the shuttering is getting a bit more elaborate. Now let me also check runway usage while I'm at it. Right, so they have closed center, and this is now once again the only runway for arrivals. So let's update that as well while we are busy in the ticker. If I can do that. Alrighty. Now, here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Queen number 2. Cathay Pacific Cargo, flight 3165, Boeing 747-800, arriving from Dubai. Current flight time 6 hours 32 minutes. It is a Boeing 747-800 freighter, 10 years old. First flight of this airplane, April 2013. Hey there, Donna, good morning. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. I still have eardrums, Alvin, I still do. It was not the loudest landing I've heard. It definitely was better than the other 747. But nowhere near as loud as A330s can be when they apply full reverse thrust. So it was still doable. Or maybe it is a sign that maybe my eardrums are already to shreds, but that could be, we'll have to test that. Thanks again for another nice super sticker, 100 underlined twice. Definitely, Alvin, definitely. So, let me quickly turn around the camera for you guys. Because Air Canada flight 808 is about to touch down. Arriving from Toronto, 6 hours and 23 minutes of flight time. Hey, Mr. Meister, goedemorgen. Mr. Master. I'm doing well, mate. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well as well. Air Canada Flight 808, this was Boeing 777-200 long range, 15-year-old airplane, first flight January 2008. Now, next up are going to be a couple of narrow bodies. Croatia Airlines will be the first. Hey Jeroen, goedemorgen. And thank you. It went quickly from 5 to 6 in just 3 weeks or so. This is Croatia Airlines Flight 450, Airbus A319, arriving from Zagreb. Flight time 1 hour and 43 minutes. Airplane age 25 years, first flight May 1998. And I think I am going to enable image stabilizer again. I think that might help a little bit with the wind shutter. FROB says good morning from Ireland. Good morning to you too, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hope you're having fun. Hope everybody is having fun. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. It isn't necessary, but it is definitely appreciated. Also, should you have any questions, feel free to ask. A lot of knowledgeable people over here in the chat. So if there's something you want to know, shoot. Hey lieve, goedemorgen deze morgen. Wat hebben we op de bammetjes vandaag? Trouwens, over juffrouw Jannie gesproken. Speaking about Miss Jannie. Let me have some coffee. Rikstedt, goedemorgen, good morning. Right, the next airplane to arrive is from KLM and is inbound from Geneva, flight 1926. It is an Embraer 190, touching down after 1 hour and 15 minutes of flying. This is a 14-year-old airplane that had its first flight in October 2008. The debiteur, crediteur jokes are already flying through the chat. So many people know this. If you're not Dutch, then you're probably thinking, what are they talking about? Sketches about a finance department from, I think, the 90s. And good morning, Don, who is checking in from Wigan in England. First time viewer. Hope you're enjoying the show, Don. Welcome to the show and thanks for saying hi. And good morning, Debbie, who is checking in from Wales. Hope you guys are having decent weather over there. As you guys can see over here, it is overcast, still dry. Now, as we're waiting for the next traffic, let's do a quick run around the block. It looks lighter to the south. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the southeast. At the horizon it seems to be more bright than over here. This is more to the southeast. This is looking directly to the east, perpendicular to the runway heading, which is from north to south. Now, the wind is coming from the southwest, so that is over here. So, not much of brightness coming this way by the looks of it. This is looking directly west. Although it does look a bit brighter. It's not as bright as when you look at the horizon to the southeast. Hey there, Fes, or FES, who is a first-time viewer from Reading. Welcome to the show. Nice of you to say hi, and nice of all the other people who are first-time viewers to also say hi. We're waiting for the next airplane to arrive. Now, it should become visible momentarily. It is a TUI A320 arriving from Bucharest. Again, this is the only runway used for arrivals right now, ladies and gentlemen. So we are experiencing a bit of a momentary lull. It will pick up, undoubtedly. Looks like 3 737s will be coming back to back. Starting with a 737-800 from TUI, followed by a 737-700 from KLM, and it looks like another 737-800 will be following after that. I think I just about see the light. Barely. That would be the TUI 737 peeking its head through the clouds, coming this way. Hey, guten Morgen, Ring Racer. Grace Muriuki says, watching from Kenya, good morning. Seg Lansdorp is checking in from Andalusia in Spain, good morning. People from all over the globe, awesome. Hey, Danny, checking in from nearer by Amersfoort. So yeah, there is a little bit of crosswind from the right. The airplane is facing us. It isn't crabbing as heavily as the airplanes were doing earlier in the week when the wind was more substantial, but the wind has increased to 12 knots. It is from the southwest, so there is definitely a crosswind component present right now. And in the meantime, you might have heard a vehicle pass by. That was our friendly neighborhood, the police, patrolling over the cycling path. And thank you, Alvin, for yet another super sticker, upside down face. Yeah, well, you're allowed to use that one. You are from down under, so everything is upside down over there, isn't it? I think that qualifies you for using that super sticker. Now, let's see. This vehicle appeared to have his flashlights on earlier, but that was only momentarily. It is one of the bird control vehicles, one of the Raptor Rangers or Ranger Raptors. They also use VWs. I think they have 4 patrolling day and night around the Schiphol perimeter. Bird controllers have several tools at their disposal to chase away birds. They can set off flares that either bang or scream, for lack of a better description. They also have a sound effect board and speakers on that vehicle so that they can also play sounds of predator birds, natural enemies of the birds that flock around, chase them away with sound instead of, well, it's all sound, isn't it? With bird sounds instead of fireworks. But yeah, if you like to drive pickup trucks and you don't mind working evening and weekends or nights, you like playing with guns, fireworks, or if you're an aspiring DJ who likes to employ sound effects, it might be the job for you. And Kardesh says, hello from Istanbul. I say hello to you too, my friend. Welcome to the show. Hope you're enjoying. Pieter Dekker says, morgen. Morgen, Pieter. Hopelijk een fijne vrijdagochtend. For you and yours. Now, KLM flight 1278 is next. It is a Boeing 737-800 arriving from Edinburgh. It is underway now for an hour and a minute. It is a 12-year-old airplane. First flight November 2010. And after that we are going to see yet another 737-800 from KLM, but one arriving from London Heathrow. One of the busiest routes, I think, between Amsterdam and one of their destinations. I think together with Paris-Charles de Gaulle, the destinations that has the most traffic on a daily basis. That is excluding the flights that are flown by BA in Easyjet. Although, does Easyjet also fly, come to think of it, does Easyjet fly from Amsterdam to London Heathrow, or do they fly to the other airports of London? Heathrow, I do know that BA and KLM fly those routes, but come to think of it, and Rick says that the sun is out in Leeuwarden. Well, looking to the north, I'm not seeing much clarity in the distance, unlike when looking to the south. But, well, I'm not complaining if the sun were to come out over here as well later in the morning. It sure hasn't looked like... It sure doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon. So that is the upside. Did have a few droplets, and you could it was even too little to be classified as drizzle, but just, I think, a few occasional droplets because of the high humidity earlier in the morning. But I also haven't felt anything in the last half hour or so. Not sure how long I'm standing over here already, but it sure looks like it is improving in that respect. Thanks for the update there, Pop Transit. Thought so. So if you want to fly to Heathrow from Amsterdam, you have to use BA or KLM. But all the other airports you can use Easyjet for. Well, do they also fly to City? Probably not. Well, you can see already how low the cloud base is as the airplane taking off from 24 vanishes into the clouds. Arjan says rain is around 14:45, so that is good news. My intention is to stick around until the A380 has landed. Also, don't forget to drink the coffee. Grüß dich, Hans-Josef. Schöne Grüße aus Deutschland. He writes, and I'm saying schöne Grüße zurück. Switching between Dutch, English and German. It looks like, looking at flight radar, it looks like the center runway has opened again, because I'm seeing an A320 arriving from Milan that looks to be coming to the center runway. Over here we have an Embraer E2-195 flight 1954 arriving from Zurich. Flight time 1 hour and 7 minutes. Brand new airplane. Began flying in June, so last month. Is that ITA indeed going to the center runway, and does that mean that they have opened up the center runway, and is it parallel arrivals once again? It sure looks like it. Well, clouds are still, the cloud base is relatively low, so I'm not seeing the airplane yet, but I am expecting we will see it shortly then. I'm not seeing any lights on the glide slope over here. Or is it just a temporary thing? There is, of course, also a bird controller over there. Will he be doing a runway inspection, perhaps? That is something we've seen before, that they temporarily... But no, the runway was closed, so... I think it is parallel arrivals again. And as it happens, we'll have to wait a bit. That means that there is a 777 arriving from Shanghai that probably will not be coming to this runway. I'm sure hoping that the Dreamliner coming in from Las Vegas will still come this way. Right, so this is ITA Airways flight 120, Airbus A320 arriving from Milan. Current flight time is 1 hour and 23 minutes. This airplane is 12 years old and its first flight was in November 2010. Hey, and is that the Garuda Indonesia 777 in the retro livery in the middle? Looks a bit like it. Not sure. Now the next airplane to this runway is going to be an A320 from British Airways arriving from London Heathrow. And Marijn confirming that 18C is indeed open. Victor, good morning. Aaron, good morning. Now, there's an A330 coming in on center from Turkish. Just became visible from out of the clouds. Not going to follow this the entire duration because there's also traffic coming to this runway. Right, Speedbird coming in from London Heathrow, flight 430, short 39-minute flight. Airplane is 12 years old, first flight July 2011. Now, next up is going to be a big Dreamliner arriving from Las Vegas. There she is, KLM flight 636. It is a Boeing 787-10 Dreamliner. And again, arriving from Las Vegas, Nevada. 9 hours 5 minutes of flight time right now. It is a 3-year-old airplane. First flight of this airplane was in November of the year 2019. It is crabbing a little bit due to the crosswind, even though the crosswind is not as excessive as it was earlier in the week. Remco indeed confirming that the China triple is going for center, so we can follow that after this airplane has landed, hopefully. Yeah, don't see any traffic immediately behind this Dreamliner. Great. Alright, the 777 has emerged from behind the clouds, so let me show you guys the arrival of it. Going to center. This is China Cargo Airlines flight 209, arriving from Shanghai. Underway now for 10 hours and 57 minutes. It is a 777 freighter. She is 3 years old. Its first flight was in June of the year 2020. Now you can see the visibility is actually quite good. You can see details of the airplanes in the distance quite well. The upshot of this weather, of course, not so much heat distortion as during sunny weather. Now the bad news is that for the time being a couple of airplanes are going to the center runway before the next airplane will be coming to the Polderbaan. The upshot of the next airplane to this runway is that it is a Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena, so it is not a narrow body. Looks like there's also a narrow body from KLM following it. Oh dear. Now is that KLM? Oh no. That KLM Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena looks like it is continuing its flight to the glide slope of center. Huh. Okay, so they probably are doing a runway inspection then. I do see that there is a vehicle on the south side driving along the runway. So yeah, the Dreamliner from Cartagena will also be going to the center runway. Alright, now this is an Embraer 190 KLM flight 1792 arriving from Munich after an hour and 8 minutes of flight time right now. 14-year-old airplane, first flight November 2008. We should be seeing another Embraer 190 arriving from Stuttgart, also from KLM after that. And number 3 for center right now is the Dreamliner that I had hoped would go to this runway, arriving from Cartagena. But has been sent to the center runway. Okay, let's scroll a bit further to the north. What is that other Dreamliner doing? Still too early to tell. Fingers crossed that it is coming to this runway. So we are now looking at KLM flight 1868, another Embraer 190 arriving from Stuttgart. Flight time 58 minutes, airplane age 9 years. It is flying since December 2013. And Roshan, I am indeed waiting for the A380. I'm hoping we might catch a break today and see it land on the Polderbaan. But the a priori chances of it are slim to none. But you have to be in it to win it. So unless we are going to see torrential rain before the A380 has landed, I am going to stick around until the A380 has landed. Right, so now, next up, that Dreamliner I had hoped would go to this runway. KLM flight 749. It is a Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Cartagena in Latin America. Flight time of this airplane 8 hours and 56 minutes at the moment. It is a 7-year-old airplane. Had its first flight in March 2016. Right. Now let me at least update the ticker. Arrivals on 18C again. There we go. Marijn is informing us that there is a Transavia cleared for this runway again, so traffic to Polderbaan will resume again. It's just that two nice Dreamliners will have to look at from a distance. It's not the end of the world, happens regularly, and it's hard to time that really well. This is BH Air, flight 42423, Airbus A320, arriving from Erbil in Iraq. Flight time 5 hours 15 minutes. It is an Airbus A320-200. She is 18 years old. First flight was in May of the year 2005. And the next airplane to become visible will be a KLM Dreamliner arriving from Canada, just appearing from below the clouds. KLM flight 696. It is another Boeing 7879 Dreamliner arriving from Toronto. Current flight time 6 hours 23 minutes. She is 7 years old. Her first flight was in October of the year 2015. After that, we are going to see the first new airplane on the Polderbaan, Transavia Boeing 737 arriving from Ibiza. Goedemorgen Frank. Goedemorgen Tim. And Eddie Bos-Casil Jr. Good evening, mate. Good to see you again. Not sure if I already said hi. Now, looks like it is a bit more open over there. Looking at the direction the wind is coming from, looks a bit more grey and dull. Hopefully it's going to stay dry over here. Next up, Transavia, flight 5680, arriving from Ibiza. Flight time 2 hours 7 minutes, Boeing 737-800, 22 years old. First flight March 2001. And also a KLM style landing, keeping up the speed, staying on the runway, vacate late, sooner to the gate. Now, traffic to both runways. The next airplane to come to our runway will probably be Delta Airlines flight 62, Airbus A330. Oh, and another departure. Let's see how quickly it vanishes into the clouds. Looks like an A330 from Delta. Just how soon well, so soon already. And another Embraer City Hopper about to touch down on the center runway. In the meantime, faintly visible, hopefully I can show you, yeah, there she is. Delta Airlines Flight 162, Airbus A330-300 arriving from Minneapolis. Flight time 7 hours 34 minutes right now. A330-300, that is 18 years old. First flight of this airplane was in March 2005. Alright, those were the last sips of coffee. On the ground we can also see the headlights of, I think, the bird control vehicle. Looks like after this Delta A330 we are going to see the Play airplane arriving from Reykjavik. So after this airplane it is playtime. And the wheelie competition. The wheelie competition not only has a new competitor, this was also a very satisfying landing in terms of the reverse thrust usage. This one definitely a bit louder than the 747s. So one thing that these airplanes excel in, it is buttery landings. Well, if there are two things that they excel in, it is buttery landings and making a lot of noise when they do enable the reverse thrust. Right, a squadron of birds is approaching the glide slope. Flying base. It looks like they are overshooting the glide slope. Did they not get clearance? Looks like they are aborting the landing. And we'll have a second go later. Right, here is our Play airplane. And thank you so much, Preacher, for becoming a member of the Aurora Sky Lounge. Thank you for your support. Welcome. Also, for the members who joined later in the stream, I updated the Emirates logo. It is now the new ribbon tail. We have to keep up with the trends in aviation, obviously, so had to do a little bit of editing, but I have created an emoji of the new Emirates tail. Now this is Play Flight 460 A320 Neo arriving from Reykjavik. Flight time 2 hours 44 minutes. brand new airplane according to flight radar, which means less than a year old, and its first flight was in October last year, so it's almost a year old. Now I am, for the first time, feeling a few droplets. Something resembling drizzle. So let me have a look at the weather radar after the arrival of our next A330. KLM flight 765, a countdown flight number, Airbus A330-200, arriving from Bonaire, from the Caribbean, one of the ABC islands just off the coast of Venezuela. A330-200, current flight time 8 hours 36 minutes. It is a 16-year-old airplane that had its first flight in November of the year 2006. Rick asks, does the Airbus Beluga ever land on Schiphol? That's a good question, friend. I don't know. I don't recall having seen it over here. Now that doesn't mean a lot. But it obviously flies airplane parts for Airbus back and forth, and I don't think any airplane parts are normally manufactured over here that require the Beluga on a regular basis. So not sure if it might have visited Schiphol for other reasons, maybe maintenance or something, or it doesn't frequent Amsterdam regularly, that much I can tell for sure. Okay, due to weather. Right, well, speaking of weather, let me have a quick look at the weather radar over here. The droplets already are slowing down again. Radar is not showing anything. Yeah, so that was just a few isolated drizzle droplets, but it's not continuing or intensifying, so false alarm. Happy to report. Now, Easyjet. Oh. Trying to multitask, but I was already trying to get the information on my screen for the next airplane coming to the Polderbaan, namely Iberia Express A320 flight 3722. Oh, we have an athletic gentleman rollerblading over here. Well, the cycling path is asphalt, so you are able to do that quite well over here. Great way to stay in shape also, particularly since we don't have as many ice days in the Netherlands in the winter anymore as, for instance, a few decades ago. Iberia Express flight 3722, Airbus A320, inbound from Madrid, touching down after nearly 2 hours of flight, 1 hour and 58 minutes according to flight radar. She's 9 years old. First flight was in 2013 in August. Well, Rick, if you're a bit skilled, then you probably won't break your legs that quickly. But yeah, skating can definitely be a good and easy way to get fractures. even when wearing protective gear. The same goes for skateboarding as well. Now, the next airplane is going to be a big bird. It is a Dreamliner from United arriving from San Francisco. Should become visible any moment. I think there it is. We are about to see it emerge. United Flight 968, Boeing 7879 Dreamliner. Again, arriving from San Francisco, California, where it departed 4:25 p.m. local time yesterday against the clock, so skipped the night and landing here the next morning. So they left on, it is Friday now, so they left Thursday afternoon, nearly 4:30 p.m. local time, and now arrive at, what is it, almost 11:15 a.m. on Friday, local time over here. Again, 9 hours, 46 minutes of flight time, and of course 9 time zones. The airplane is 7 years old, first flight January 2016. Now, in the corner of my flight radar screen, I can also see a 777 from El Al arriving, but it's going to center. Damn it. On the other hand, if they keep this runway open for parallel arrivals, let's say until past 12 and the A380 arrives around 1, there is a chance that this will be the only runway in use by then. Of course, it's all very much wishful thinking. What is the expected time of arrival, by the way, of today's Emirates A380? I forgot to check that this morning. Is it on schedule or before, running before schedule or behind schedule? Ahead of schedule. Now, in the meantime, a few narrow bodies are coming this way. Although there is an A330 arriving from Montreal, looking to come this way. Hey Vincent, bonjour, bienvenue, and welcome to all other viewers as well. You're watching arrivals at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. My name is Boy. This is the Polderbaan, one of the 2 runways currently in use for arrivals. The wind blowing from the southwest, a little bit of headwind, a little bit of crosswind from the right. That is why the airplanes are facing us. They do a little bit of crabbing. Wind is not very intense, 12 knots. Maybe it has increased a little bit. I will update the weather shortly. Doesn't feel like it has changed a lot. High humidity. Sometimes you see vortices, particularly, for instance, with the 747s. They were clearly visible at the tips of the flaps. High relative humidity causes that. No precipitation of significance expected anytime soon, maybe in the afternoon, but not as long as we are planning to be live. We're waiting for the Emirates A380. Normally it arrives around 1 p.m. local time. Now, let me quickly Right, well, So here is the LL 777 that is arriving from Tel Aviv. And over here we have Fordices, Bumps, Air Transat. A321neo, the daily flight. Arriving from Canada. The next airplane also arriving from Canada. Okay, Rick has to go to work for now. Maybe we'll see you later. If not, werk ze. And hopefully see you again soon. Hey there, Mabube. Hey there, Scott. Good day to you all. Here we have KLM flight 672 Airbus A330-300 arriving from Montreal, Canada. 5 hours and 56 minutes of flight time. The airplane is 10 years old. Its first flight January 2013. Always nice to see the runway stripes in the reflection of the bottom of the airplane. Right, so quick update of the weather. I have just refreshed the ticker with the latest meter that I could find on Flight Radar. So it is Eham Schiphol Airport. Today is the 28th of July. The time this report was drafted was 8:55 Zulu time. So that is 10:55 Central European time. So it is nearly half an hour old. Prevailing wind 10 knots from 260 degrees, so nearly coming from the west. The wind direction is variable between 230 degrees and 290 degrees, so that is northwest and south, between northwest and southwest. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. And there are a few clouds at 900 feet, broken clouds at 1100 feet. The temperature is 20 degrees Celsius, so that is approximately 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The dew point is 17 degrees, so 3 degrees difference. We began the stream with 1 degree difference, so the humidity has lowered a little bit. Air pressure 1006 hectopascals, and no significant changes in the weather is expected within the next 2 hours. All right, let's quickly go back to the action. Embraer 190 landing, arriving from Bristol, KLM flight 1050. Short flight, 52 minutes. Bristol, of course, also not very distant as the crow flies. It's just that there's a body of water between us and the UK. But as the crow flies, of course, the UK is very nearby. Well, that's a first, an Embraer with squeaky brakes. That's definitely not something we have heard before. Right, it was a 9-year-old airplane, by the way. And next up is going to be another Embraer 190 from KLM. This one arriving from London City. There she is. KLM flight 986. Embraer 190, origin London City. Flight time right now 39 minutes. 14-year-old airplane, first flight June 2009. And yes, Wendy, indeed, if you go for a walk with the dog, you don't need to wear a vest or anything. I'm wearing a vest right now just because I'm always exposed to the wind over here in the field, and there is still wind blowing and you're standing still all the time, more or less. So you do get cold more easily, but if you're walking, you definitely can go out in your t-shirt. Even though it looks cold, it definitely isn't cold. It is still summer and the temperature confirms that. And Pegasus, what is it, A321neo? Arriving from Istanbul. Hey Mario, guten Tag. Schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. This is KLM flight 1422, Boeing 737-800, arriving from Birmingham, touching down after a flight time of 44 minutes. You can see the vortices from the flap tips. Well, at least you could see that before the spoilers went up. Relative humidity is still high, even though it is a bit lower than it was earlier in the morning. And this airplane is relatively new, 4 years old. First flight March 2019 for this one. Well, really, Rick, has it been such a crappy summer? I think it hasn't been that bad so far. We did have a lot of nice sunny weather just earlier in the year. Alright, Remco says flight 147 from Emirates is still out for an hour and 45 minutes. So it is running late. A little bit. Now over Hungary. Oh, I'm hearing something in the water. But where is it coming from? Is that the Kut over there on the peninsula? I think. Or, oh, there are more. I think it might be. Embraer 175 arriving from Manchester, KLM flight 1072. 15-minute flight, Manchester, Amsterdam. Seven-year-old airplane, first flight July 2016. Well, definitely some opener cloud type land inward to the southeast. This is looking south, this is looking straight east. So most open looks like in the southeast. Directly back north, I do see a bit of light in the distance. Further out against towards the horizon, it does look like a bit more open. I also saw some activity in the water, and that is another coot. So we haven't seen any ducks yet. Coots, a few. Here's the wind visualized, blowing mostly from the west now. If it is switching to northwest, they might also start switching runway usage again. Now, if they are going to do takeoffs from this runway, this is also a good location near the rotation point to be filming from. For now, I don't think they will do that anytime soon, but it has happened before recently. Started out with arrivals, ended the stream with... Oh no, we started with departures and we ended with arrivals. So this is an Embraer 175 arriving from Norwich, KLM flight 1516. Short flight, 31 minutes, just the North Sea to cross over. Pilots are probably already preparing for landing as soon as they have retracted the landing gear. Again, a few droplets are falling right now. And the airplane was 5 years old. Now another Embraer 175 arrival from Hanover is flying to center. That is KLM flight 1904. Hanover also not very far away. Still longer flight time than the one from just now. 40 minutes, so 10 minutes longer already. Embraer 175, 5-year-old airplane, and I think that was also the age of the other Embraer we saw just now. Looks like there's a 737 coming to the Polderbaan. I think I can already see it, so let me show you guys that a bit closer by in a few minutes. One of the many flights between Paris Charles de Gaulle and Amsterdam. This is KLM flight 1230, Boeing 737-800. Flight time right now 43 minutes. So longer flight time than Hanover. 3-year-old airplane, first flight December 2019. And welcome to the show, Top Data. Anamoy, good afternoon. Or no, it's still morning. Hey there, Gary. Checking in from Stansted. Well, a lot of flights between Amsterdam and Stansted as well. Welcome to the show. Hope you're having fun. Hope everybody is having fun. If you are new to the channel, don't be afraid to say hi in the chat. Also, should you have any questions, feel free to ask. A lot of knowledgeable people over here in the chat, friendly folk. No need to be scared to say hi or ask a question if you have any. Now, next up is going to be KLM flight 1442 arriving from Aberdeen. Embraer 190, flight time 1 hour and 1 minute. Birds over here flying around. Not exactly sure what they're doing. I think it might be Russell Crowe and his bros. Right, the coots are also communicating with each other and swimming towards each other. So we have one coot in the water over here making some clicking noises, and it seems that its friend is reacting to it. Quacking, if you can call it, whenever the other made that clicking sound. Now, looks like there's going to be a meetup right in the middle where I'm standing. So after the arrival of this airplane, we might be able to film that. Embraer 190 arriving from Aberdeen, KLM flight 1442, flight time 1 hour and 3 minutes, airplane age 12 years, first flight August 2010. Let's switch to autofocus. So here is the meetup. So Coot left on the left hand was making clicking sounds, and in response the Coot on the right made a sort of quack sound, whatever that sound they produce is called. Okay, well, apparently nothing more than just saying hi and going their own way again. Or are they? No, I don't think they are. It seems that they are sticking together. Oh, what are you doing? Okay. Now I think more are over there. Yeah. Stone Slab and the Peninsula. Seems to be a hideout for Coots. In the meantime, yet another Embraer 190 setting foot on Dutch soil again, arriving from Stavanger, flight 1198. Flight time was 1 hour and 13 minutes. And parallel, Lufthansa by the looks of it. Going to the center runway. Well, thank you, Christophe, for your kind words, saying bonjour from France. Thanks for the great pictures, you do a great job. Dankjewel. Merci beaucoup, mon ami. Merci beaucoup. I do my best. Let's go back to manual focus and focus set to infinity, which works best for the airplanes. Our next airplane is an A319 from Easyjet, arriving from London Luton. Flight time 40 minutes. 16-year-old airplane. Its first flight was in August of the year 2006. Easyjet flight 22515. And behind me is a tractor approaching. So that is something you might hear in a few moments. With an attachment that looks like a shredder for bits of wood, branches and tree stems. tracks are already quite far to the north. And at the moment we'll have to wait a few more moments for next traffic to the Polderbaan. In the meantime, a Transavia 737-800 is arriving from Barcelona. Transavia flight 5132. Underway now for an hour and 47 minutes. 13-year-old airplane, first flight May 2010. Again, isn't that Garuda Indonesia retro livery 777? Let me go to digital zoom in the menu, enable spy mode activate. Yeah, I think it is. It is Garuda Indonesia. Right, now that has been established, back into the menu and disable digital zoom. Right, the next airplane on this runway is visible in the north. Hey Hans, goedemorgen, good morning. And welcome to everybody who just tuned in or tuned in later. You're watching Arrivals at Schiphol Airport with me. My name is Boy. This is the Polderbaan, runway 18 right. Currently one of the two runways being used for arrivals. Parallel arrivals in progress. Center runway also being used. The downside is we don't get to see all inbound traffic up close. The silver lining is that at least it is parallel landing, so we do get to see them from a bit of a distance, all the other airplanes, which might be handy when the Emirates A380 arrives. Obviously we're hoping to see it come to this runway, but in practice it often gets directed to the other runway. Now, the center runway has been used for arrivals for a while now, so I'm hoping maybe if it stays open for 20 more minutes and then closes again, maybe then we are lucky and see the A380 land over here, but I'm not counting on it. Don't want to get up your hopes too high. Realistically speaking, we're not going to see it land. But you have to be in it to win it, so to speak. Now it's estimated to arrive around 10 past 1 p.m. local time, so quite nicely on time. Weather permitting, and I think the weather will permit us, I'm going to stick around until then. So far we have seen two Queens, a 747-400 and a 747-800. If you guys missed it, if you tuned in later, don't worry. If you come back later after the stream is done, once I get home, I always look up the highlights of the stream and timestamp them in the description of the video, plus in a pinned comment. So if you ever want to see the highlights of a certain stream, you can always quickly go to the highlights via the timestamps. German Airways, Embraer 190 flying for KLM. This one in the normal livery, not the lijstje for chocolatory livery that we have seen so many times before. Pretty sure that we will see it again. I think now the stream has gone by where we didn't see it. It flies really regularly and also on relatively short distance destinations, so it does make a lot of flights on a daily basis. This was arrival from Glasgow, by the way, as KLM flight 1472. which is 1 hour and 7 minutes of flying. And this airplane, 16 years old, first flight January 2007. If you're unfamiliar with Schiphol Airport, then this is the, let me tell you something, this is the Polderbaan. The latest edition was delivered and started being used 20 years ago. The latest edition, it's furthest removed from the main platform area. Airplanes landing over here still have a 15-minute taxi at least to get to their gate. There's also a dedicated ATC control tower for this runway, simply because the original ATC control tower and the main terminal building are so far away. It is over here, and when I zoom out fully you can see just how far away it is. So you need binoculars and good weather to even be able to see something. KLM 777-300 arriving from Willemstad, Curaçao. KLM flight 736. 8 hours and 12 minutes of flight time. Quite an uneventful landing actually, but that is good, of course. Speaks to the skills of the pilot. 777-300ER, 8 hours 12 minutes flight time, 11-year-old airplane, first flight May 2012. Now, I'm not seeing any traffic going to the center runway again, so I think they might have closed it. Now hopefully it's going to stay closed for the next 1.5 hours, so that we can see the Emirates A380 land on this particular runway. Fingers crossed. Hey there Yorkshire, good day mate. Good to see you again. Hope all is well mate. Hey Wilma, goeiemorgen. Had to look at the time. Still morning. Petros, good day to you my friend. Good to see you again. Still very warm weather. It has been a terrible summer in the Mediterranean in terms of heat waves and fires, of course. We all know that. Wish some rain on all of you guys over in the Mediterranean and cooler temperatures. So it very much looks like this is once again the only runway in use for arrivals, ladies and gentlemen. That is good news for the time being. It means all the heavies will be coming to this runway. The question is, will we see that one heavy we're all waiting for come to this runway as well? Time will tell. Now, also hearing a siren. There's a road next to this runway. There's probably something going on. Right. Next up is Transavia. Flight 76, Boeing 737-800. Relocation flight arriving from Eindhoven. Still a 22-minute flight. What the? How in the world is that possible? I always had the feeling that Eindhoven was nearer by than 22 minutes of flying with the 737, but there you go. Apparently it is 22 minutes away. 19-year-old airplane, first flight March 2004. and a little bit of openness still to the southwest, southeast. Now looking to the west, I will also start seeing a bit of light near the horizon, so it might indicate that more open weather is coming this way at some point. Still looks mostly the same looking to the north, still clouds all over. Also the light that I saw near the horizon earlier to the northwest also seems to have gone, so not exactly sure how to interpret that, if it means anything at all. Now, a couple of heavies are expected. Before that, this city hopper arriving from Humberside, KLM flight 1486, 38 minutes of flight time, now touching down, 6-year-old airplane, first flight September 2016. Right, next up Delta Airlines flight 136 A330 300 arriving from Detroit. Yeah, Detroit, Michigan. Six hours and 56 minutes underway right now. The airplane is 19 years old. First flight was in September 2003. Over here, still a few droplets again, isolated droplets. Could also see a few vortices from the flap tips. Before the spoilers got raised, a little bit of reverse thrust. Not as full scale as we heard one of the earlier A330s do, but still nice sound, nice touch. Hey, are those ducks? Am I seeing that correctly? Or is that a duck? Single, not plural. Okay, so a lady duck has woken up. Not sure where it was coming from. All of a sudden I saw it. Right, now time for the triples. It's double triple time, 2 consecutive 777s coming in. The first one being this KLM flight 682. Coming in from Vancouver, Canada, 8 hours and 49 minutes of flight time, 777-300 ER, 10-year-old airplane, first flight May 2013. And now 777 number 2. There it is. Just about emerging from the clouds. KLM flight 758 arriving from Panama City, 777-200 ER. Flight time 9 hours 37 minutes. Airplane age 16 years. First flight January 2007. So it is eligible in the Netherlands to get its moped license. Over here you need a license to drive a moped 50cc, and you can start your exam when you're 16. Now you can see how the flaperons over here are in the neutral position. Those are the little moving bits between the big flap surfaces in line with the engines. With the Dreamliner you can see that they are also standing upright when the spoilers are up, being part of the speed brake system. So triple usage. They're also, and hence the name flaperon, part of the flap and the aileron system. Now you can see that they are going down a little bit again, but still relatively neutral. They function as part of the flap system and part of the aileron system. Dual use on the 777, but triple use on the Dreamliners, where they also act as part of the speed brake when those are deployed. Right. Next up is going to be an A320neo from Pegasus, flight 5015, arriving from Antalya in Turkey. 3 hours and 49 minutes of flight time. This A320neo is 4 years old. First flight was in July 2019. And butt shot coming in. 3, 2, 1. There you go. As mentioned earlier, the airplanes landing here still have a 15-minute taxi ahead of them. Back to the gate, you can see in the background one of the airplanes, the previous airplanes, still taxiing. Now, you can definitely tell that this is the only runway at the moment because the traffic is quite densely behind each other. Transavia 737. with a little bit of reverse thrust being applied, as you guys could hear probably. Flight 5806, arriving from Thessaloniki in Greece. That is a 12-year-old airplane, first flight February 2011. Right, we're already in the right direction. Let's see if we can update the ticker with some updated information. Right. Now, runway usage 2 for departures, 1 for arrivals. And the METAR. Right, still wind from the southwest. So, no runway changes expected. Copy, paste, adjust font size, delete 18C. Here we go. So we have an updated weather situation in the ticker. It is now emerging from the right. Again, AHAM, Schiphol Airport, the abbreviation, AMS, AHAM, two of the abbreviations to indicate Schiphol Airport. It is the 28th. This report is from 9:25 Zulu time. That is Greenwich Mean Time. That means it is almost just over half an hour old. The prevailing wind from 250 degrees 11 knots. The wind direction variable between 230 degrees and 290 degrees. So basically southwest with variation between south-southwest and west-southwest. Visibility 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 900 feet, broken clouds at 1200 feet, broken clouds at 2100 feet. Temperature 20 degrees Celsius or approximately 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Dew point 17 degrees Celsius. The air pressure, the QNH, is 1006 hectopascals, and the clouds are becoming broken at 1600 feet. So there you go. In the meantime, airplanes coming in. Hey there, Guy, checking in from Luxembourg. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Steve 88, good day, my friend. How's life over there? Good to see you again. This is an Embraer 190 from KLM in the SkyTeam livery. Flight 1060, arriving from Cardiff. 55 minutes of flight time under its belt right now. The airplane is 11 years old, first flight April 2012. First exit butt shot coming in. Spoilers going down. Will we also see the flaps retract from this position? Are they moving up yet? Don't think so. Alright. Well. Hey there, Gareth. Welcome. And welcome also to Wisdom Reds. Checking in from Botswana, no less. Welcome to the show. Hope everybody is having a good time. You're watching arrivals at the Polderbaan runway 18 right. Currently the only runway again for all inbound traffic here at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. This is Anadolu Jet. Finally an airplane using the reverse thrust again, decently. So arriving from Istanbul, this airplane. Next up another KLM that will be arriving from London Heathrow. And a different bird controller, K1. This the VW, not the Ford Ranger Raptor or Raptor Ranger. We're awaiting KLM flight 1008, arriving from London Heathrow, Boeing 737-800, flight time 43 minutes, 12-year-old airplane, first flight May 2011. A little bit of reverse thrust and also stereotypical KLM, keeping up the speed, vacate late, sooner at the gate. By the way, still no activity over at the fire station. We haven't seen the firefighters. I also didn't see them when I was walking up here before setting up. So I'm not sure if they are going to do a round today, or maybe if they already did a very early round. Well, I wasn't that much later than I normally arrive at the scene. Right, next up Embraer 190, and after that another Embraer 190. It is a bit repetitive. KLM flight 1542, arriving from Leeds. Flight time 49 minutes. Airplane age 11 years. First flight January 2012. Next up will be an Embraer 190 from German Airways, flying for KLM. As KLM flight 1986, arriving from Basel, the city of which is in Switzerland, but from what I understood was that the airport itself technically is in France. Now touching down after an hour and 3 minutes of flying. 15-year-old airplane, first flight January 2008. Right, now let's switch it up again. Time for a heavy. It is the AMS Live logo, a Dreamliner TUI Flight 377, Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner arriving from Bonaire, one of the ABC islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao, 3 islands, part of the Dutch Kingdom of the Netherlands I should say, just off the coast of Venezuela. Flight time 8 hours 20 minutes. This airplane 9 years old, first flight May 2014. And it does look like an opener cloud type is moving in, which I will show you after the landing. Big picture, looks a bit more open over there. Now also for the first time when looking to the west, definitely a bit more open over here. Lighter skies looking to come in finally. So that is promising. Now, the situation in the water is still basically the same. I think mostly goods. This time around they are more to the north of me. Here we have one. And there's number 2. And that is good number 3. Is that lady duck still over here? Yes, looks like it. Now, that's not the most pleasant place to be taking a nap, I should think, with that bit of debris to the right. Surely you can do better than that. Embraer 190. KLM flight 1296 arriving from Bordeaux in La France after an hour and 21 minutes now touching down. The airplane is 12 years old, first flight August 2010. I think I'm also hearing a departing airplane. It sounds almost like an A350. Could it be Finnair going to Helsinki? Hey Harry, morning! How's life in Ontario? Cathay spotter, good morning! Good to see you again, my friend. WD computer, good day to you. Sound is breaking up right now. Is that something that other people are experiencing as well? Next up is another Embraer 190 German Airways, still a regular livery. KLM flight 954. Vincent said no, sounds good for me. Could be WD computer that maybe reloading the stream will fix the issue. A lot of the time that resolves a lot of the issues people might experience in terms of sound or video quality. German Airways flight for KLM arriving from Newcastle. That's KLM flight 954. Fourteen-year-old airplane, first flight January 2009. Again, let's look at how quickly the departing traffic vanishes into the clouds. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so that's really quickly still. Cloud base is relatively low. Visibility at ground level is good. Prevailing wind is from the southwest. So there is crosswind. It is opening up a little bit. It is now brighter, I can say, than it has been all the while since I've been out here. Probably doesn't reflect as well on camera, but you can definitely see if you're standing here that it looks a lot brighter in most parts of the sky than it did so far. Miss Professor also says sound is fine, excellent. Thomas says that the sun is shining near Utrecht. So it seems that everywhere the sun is out except for Schiphol Airport. Well, doesn't matter as long as it's dry. That's the most important thing. E2 Embraer 195 from KLM arriving from Bergen, flight 1186. Flight time 1 hour and 18 minutes, about to touch down. The first flight of this airplane was in January this year. Danny Romeinders also says sound is good. Hey there, Monica. Good afternoon. Or no, it is afternoon right now. And Danny also saying sun in Amersfoort. However, Monica says that in the Nettetal there is rainy weather. It's not all sunshine anymore throughout Europe. At least over here, still moderate and decent temperatures and not excruciatingly warm. Exile 2828 says similar weather in UK. I'm about 10 miles from Luton. Yeah, I think they said on the weather yesterday evening that there's a big area of low pressure in the vicinity of Iceland that is basically like producing, or it's delivering depression after depression to the UK and Western Europe, like a sort of conveyor belt. Also for the upcoming weekend, it doesn't look that well in terms of weather. Showery weather predicted for the entire weekend, if I'm not mistaken, with precipitation possible on all days. I think they also said that Monday was going to be a particularly wet day, so, but then again they also said that that was yesterday, and it was indeed a very wet day yesterday. So yeah, not sure how many streams I will be able to, so I'm still very much looking to go out each day in the upcoming weekend and also Monday, but it is all weather permitting as always. Right. Same here, Yorkshire. It isn't cold at all. It looks maybe cold, but it is like 20 degrees Celsius or something, and well, I'm wearing a vest because I'm standing still for several hours, hardly moving, which makes it easy to get cold. Plus you're always out in the open, constantly being hit by the wind. But if you're going for a walk, t-shirt is enough. Maybe even you could even wear shorts today. Right, so we're waiting for the next airplane to show itself. Should be a Transavia 737. I think I do see the lights vaguely. Where is it? All right, there it is. Has just shown its face. Transavia flight 6004 737-800 arriving from Porto in Portugal. 2 hours and 9 minutes of flight time as we speak. 8-year-old airplane. First flight March 2015. I'm wondering if I'm able to see airplanes flying off the coast, if they are flying downwind towards the north. Not seeing anything doing that right now, so cannot see it yet. Thomas says that the A380 is estimated to arrive around 1:15, so that is in an hour or so from now. Thanks for that update. We'll have to see what air traffic control is going to do in terms of runway usage. 9 out of 10 times, just before or just after the A380 has crossed over into Dutch airspace, they open up the center runway. Or at least that's the runway I'm expecting them to reopen again today. Last week it was runway 27. I think they're going for parallel arrivals again today. So my realistic prediction of what is going to happen is that around the time the A380 enters Dutch airspace, 18C will open. There's also a Saudia Dreamliner typically arriving from Jeddah that also goes to that runway. And we can only see it from a distance, but the upshot again is that at least on this, well, when it is 18 center, that it's going to, then at least we'll be able to see it way better than when it goes to runway 27, which is perpendicular to this runway and also quite far, relatively speaking, quite far removed from over here. Ooh, wow! Big swarm of birds. Holy cow. A big murmuration, as it is called in English, I recently learned. Now, this is already far to the east of the runway, so no need to worry about bird strikes or anything, but it was a nice sight to behold. Now, we already mentioned it earlier in passing. Here it is, the Lycifer Chocolaterie Embraer 190 from German Airways, flying for KLM, this time coming in from Stuttgart in Germany, touching down after 58 minutes of flying. 15-year-old airplane, first flight January 2008. Let's have a look at the lovely chocolate cakes. Chocolate. Right, now, I think we haven't seen any Vuelings yet. Or have we? Actually, I cannot recall having seen a Vueling in this stream today yet. Here is the first one, arriving from Barcelona. Or at least I think it is the first one. If I'm wrong, apologies. So, Vueling flight 8309, Airbus A320, originating from Barcelona. Flight time right now 1 hour and 52 minutes. It is a 10-year-old airplane. First flight May 2013. I'm also seeing a nice heavy coming this way from KLM 777-200 arriving from Guayaquil. That looks to become number 2 for arrival. Surely we must have seen more Vuelings before in the stream. Huh. Right. And I also see that there's a 767 from Icelandair coming this way, arriving from Reykjavik. So what's nice about Icelandair is they still have some airplanes flying that you don't see very often, and they do send them to Amsterdam on a regular basis. So there is a 757 regular livery in the 100 years independence, I think it was, special livery that we also recently saw. Now seeing that the bird controller is driving around with the lights on, so I'm wondering, are they doing a quick inspection? Not sure if it is driving on the runway itself. I think it might be. Probably is. Just a quick inspection to see if there are any debris or anything on the runway, probably. And of course the 767-300ER. Now, of course, the 767-300 is an airplane type that we see a bit more regularly. Other operators also still fly them, or at least a few, mostly cargo. LATAM cargo springs to mind immediately. 757, I'm not sure if we see other operators than Icelandair fly to Amsterdam with them. Yeah, maybe cargo as well. Right, now, is the triple already visible? I don't have it visually yet, but it will become visible shortly. Still not seeing the airplane visually, so nothing that I can point the camera to and zoom into. It is taking its time. There we go, I see something. And I wasn't too far off with the initial pointing. KLM flight 751, 777-200 ER, arriving from Guayaquil, which is in Ecuador. Very important gateway for goods that are coming from South America and are transported in bulk on boats to Rotterdam and Antwerp, I recently learned. Apparently a big player these days, Ecuador. And Guayaquil is a harbor in that country. KLM flight 751. The airplane takes 10 hours and 54 minutes to arrive from over there to where it is right now. It is a 777-200 ER that is 19 years old and began flying in November of the year 2003. There's a lot Embraer 175 after this, and after that lot we are going to see the 767 from Icelandair. Hey there, Serge. Good afternoon. Good to see you again. Right, now. A small plane, and after that another big plane is coming in. Hey there, Michi. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Hope everybody is doing well. This is LOT, Polish Airlines, flight 263, Embraer 175, arriving from Warsaw. Current flight time 1 hour and 45 minutes. "17-year-old airplane that had its first flight in April 2006. First exit with the butt shot is incoming. Spoilers have already gone down. Will we also be seeing the flaps retract before it makes the right hand turn? Not yet seeing them. Oh wait, they are, I think, moving up. Yeah, they are retracting. Right, no time to waste. Let's quickly turn around. Next up, Boeing 767 A320 ER, Icelandair Flight 500, arriving from Reykjavik. The daily flight, 2 hours and 42 minutes of flight time under its belt. The airplane is 25 years old. First flight was in October 1997. I think I was halfway through high school then. Yeah. A while ago. Thank you for your kind words, Pro in Roblox 2012. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. These are arrivals at Polderbaan. At the moment, this is the only runway in use for arrivals. The wind is blowing from the southwest. These airplanes are coming in from the north, land to the south, so there is a little bit of crosswind from the right. It's not a lot. It's not as windy as it was a week ago, when it was almost storm-like. There is a little bit of crabbing action, but not much. Over here in the Netherlands, the prevailing wind often is from the southwest. We're waiting for the arrival of the daily Emirates A380 Super. It normally arrives around 1 to 1:15 p.m. local time. It's now just past 12:30, so we should be expecting the A380 in 45 minutes or so. Word of warning, don't expect to see it land on this runway. If we do see it, it's a lucky break. Often what happens is that parallel landings resume shortly before it touches down. As soon as the A380 enters Dutch airspace, ATC has a hand of it to open up a secondary runway for landings, and today it's very likely going to be runway 18 center and clear it to land on that runway. I'm of course hoping that today we'll see the exception to the rule, but unfortunately the sad reality is that the rule is that we're not seeing it land over here. The silver lining, if it is going to runway 18 center, is that it is a parallel landing runway and we are able to see it quite well from over here. It's just not as up close as would be the case when it would be landing on this runway. Time will tell. We might be lucky today, but realistically don't count on it. I'm seeing that the left runway 18 left is now in use for departures. A bit more to the right. Cloud base is quite low. Runway 24 also being used for departures. You can see the airplanes just after they have cleared the trees, but shortly thereafter they will go back into the clouds. The cloud base is relatively low today. Also low in the water. Coots still swimming about. There have been a couple we have spotted. I'm seeing that the lady duck is also on the move and is actually swimming in the vicinity. So that is nice to see. Not sure if that is one of the ducklings that is now fully grown, or if this is mama duck and both her remaining babies have gone or have moved out, or maybe this is a different duck altogether. boats are following suit at a respectable distance. Meanwhile, our next airplane is approaching Air Arabia A320, operated by Air Arabia Maroc, arriving from Nador in Morocco, touching down after 2 hours and 38 minutes of flight time. An 11-year-old airplane, first flight June 2012. Meantime, I saw that Snorri celebrates 1 month of membership, saying hey yo, good morning. I say hey yo, good morning to you too, Snorri, and thank you for your continued support there. Congratulations and thank you for your ongoing support. Also, thank you Cedric for a nice super sticker with a beaming face with smiling eyes. So thank you so much for that, Cedric. Lance informing us that Michael Jackson is back but hurt his knee and moved house. Oh, okay. But you did see him yesterday. Well, I'm happy to hear that he is still alive and kicking. Well, not kicking with that affected knee then, of course, but always need to be careful when moving. It's very easy to get hurt, particularly if you are a man that is no longer in his 20s, which I think applies to Michael Jackson. You know, shit can always happen, to say it undiplomatically. Nou, hey Servus Peppi, schön, dass du auch wieder dabei bist. En dank u wel Tony, who says live chat gives you the best information. That's a compliment to you all. Meanwhile, a beetle was walking over the edge of my camera screen. Marechaussee patrolling. I think that is something like military police. Also patrolling the perimeter of Schiphol Airport now and then. There's also a dedicated police team, BBS, also patrolling here regularly. In fact, one of the officers was my number 2 subscriber back in the day. We caught up and had a nice chat after I did my first live stream publicly in the end of November. This is Delta Airlines Flight 144, Airbus A330-300, touching down after 9 hours and 11 minutes of flight from Seattle to Amsterdam. Airplane's taking off from runway 24. Just watch how quickly it vanishes into the clouds. The cloud base still quite low. And gone it is. Next up, Vueling A320 Neo arriving from Alicante. In the Visit Tenerife livery, which probably is just a sticker somewhere on the regular livery. Flight 1377. Touching down after 2 hours and 13 minutes of flight. A320 Neo, 3 years old, first flight March 2020. I'm not seeing anything. This looks like a standard livery to me, if you ask me. Unless it is only one-sided and on the left-hand side and out of our view, but that probably isn't the case. Right, next up, a big bird. And like in Sesame Street, Big Bird is blue, or at least in Dutch Sesame Street, Big Bird is blue. And this blue Big Bird is KLM flight 622. Boeing 777-300 ER, arriving from Atlanta, Georgia. Flight time of this airplane, 7 hours, 24 minutes. When it left, it was 11:20 p.m. So it also flew through the night against the clock. So not only the flight time, but also the time difference gets added up. Now arriving here 1:45 p.m. the next day. 777-300 ER, flight time 7 hours and 24 minutes. It is 2 years old, first flight January 2021. Ah, no Ellie, in the Netherlands Big Bird has always been blue for some reason. Which is confusing because if you watch Sesame Street on YouTube from different countries, you see that Big Bird is yellow. So I never understood why that was, but it always has been historically, ever since I was a small kid and watching Sesame Street myself. Big Bird in the Netherlands has always been blue for some reason. Indeed, you KLM lobbyists, that must be it. Well, the shade of blue does resemble KLM blue somewhat, if I recall from memory, so it actually wouldn't be too surprising, too far of a stretch to think that it might have something to do with that, but I don't recall Big Bird ever promoting KLM or anything, so I think it's probably just coincidence. Now, as I am taking a sip of water, I'm also noticing that the wind seems to have changed direction somewhat, now blowing mostly from the northwest because the smoke from the chimneys is pointing directly away from us. And this is pointing the camera at an angle of about 45 degrees to the northeast. So that means that the wind is blowing from the southwest, more or less. Now, And Mrs. Professor wanted to say hi for the first time. I watched for a little while later here in California. Thanks for teaching us the METAR. Nice to know what the letters and numbers mean. Yeah, if you know what it means, it is tremendously informational. What I didn't realize was that not everybody was, nowhere near as many people knew what it meant as I had hoped it would. So every now and then I take people through the METAR, show them what it means, because it is very informative. Informative is the word I was looking for. The next airplane to come this way is going to be a Transavia Boeing 737-800. In the meantime, it is getting busy in Dutch airspace, particularly from the east. A lot of airplanes. I can see that there's a Saudi Dreamliner already in the country. Now folks, you guys can also have a look at Omgevingsinfo Schiphol. There's an app for iPhone called that, and it's also a website. On it you can see what runway inbound traffic has been assigned to land on. Can you guys already see something that might be indicative of a reopening of center soon? Because I think with the traffic now arriving, the reopening of a second runway for arrivals is imminent. This is Transavia flight 5354, Boeing 737-800 arriving from Faro in Portugal. It has been flying now for 2 hours and 34 minutes on this flight. The airplane is 7 years old, first flight March 2016. You can still see the vortices emanate from the tips of the flaps before the spoilers go up. I think the spoilers distort the airflow, or maybe it has to do with the airplane touching the ground, touchdown. Just before that you still see the vortices. And is that a first airplane to center already on flight radar? The one from Copenhagen, I think it is. I think we can establish that the center runway has in fact opened again. I think I see it already. I can update the ticker. Arrivals on 18 center have begun. The first airplane is already visible in the distance. So yeah, that's like, it means that with 99% certainty we can say that the A380 is going to follow the same flight path as this airplane is going to do. Now this is KLM flight 1128, Boeing 737-900 in the SkyTeam livery, arriving from Copenhagen, where it departed 57 minutes ago. This is a 22-year-old airplane that had its first flight in June of the year 2001. So this is like a little preview of what we are going to see of the standard livery Emirates A380 that is expected within half an hour. It's almost nearly certain that it is going to land on the center runway. They have reopened it, which means all traffic originating from the east will be directed to this runway 99 out of 100 times. Of course, there may be exceptions, but I'm not expecting any. Hey, Grace Kelly, good afternoon. Good to see you again. Hope all is well. Hope all is well for everybody, of course. If you just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're watching Arrivals with me, Boy, and this is the Polderbaan. At the moment, one of the two runways being used for arrivals once again. They have reopened the center runway. Parallel arrivals taking place right now. So that doesn't bode well for our chances of seeing the Emirates A380 up close. You never know until you know, but the a priori chances are slim to none. That doesn't mean that we won't be seeing interesting traffic coming to the Polderbaan, this runway. In fact, we are seeing one arrive right now. Delta Airlines Flight 164. Another A330 from Delta arriving from Minneapolis. An A330-300 underway now for 737. 7 hours and 37 minutes according to Flight Radar. The airplane is 16 years old. Its first flight December 2006. So you guys can clearly see that conditions over here are still overcast. Has been the case all morning. Even though the clouds do open up, break up a little bit. Overall it is still overcast, as you guys can see. This is looking to the south. This is looking to the west. This is looking to the east. And in the water we have a squadron of coots passing me by over here. Now, and obviously this is looking to the north. These airplanes are arriving from the north, landing to the south. While we're waiting for the next airplane to arrive, let me also update the METAR in the ticker. That is the weather report. Let's go to Flight Radar, Amsterdam, METAR, copy, close the browser, go to the ticker, paste, select all, adjust the font size, and save. Right, now in the ticker you'll be seeing the latest weather report. AHAM being the airport code for Schiphol, together with AMS, two of the international airport codes for Schiphol Airport. It is the 28th today. This report is from 10:25 Zulu time. That is Greenwich Mean Time. That is Central European Time -2. I will do the rest after the landing of this airplane. A320 arriving from Palma de Mallorca, Global X, flying for TUI, hybrid livery, the color scheme of Global X but with TUI logos on it. But that's a different airplane. That's the next airplane. This is Aer Lingus Flight 604. Was already wondering why that TUI Global X was looking so differently. Aer Lingus flight 604 arriving from Dublin. Flight time 1 hour and 6 minutes. 18-year-old airplane. The next airplane is going to be Global X TUI. Again, a nice butt shot. We are standing in line with the first exit of the runway, so airplanes vacating via that exit we can see directly from behind. Always nice to see when the spoilers lower like now. We'll also see the flaps retract most likely. Yeah, they are moving up already. There you go. Now in the meantime, parallel arrivals. Going to the center runway is a 777. China Southern Cargo arriving from Guangzhou. And the Global X TUI airplane this time around landing. A320 arriving from Palma de Mallorca. Now, departing traffic from 18 left and landing traffic on 18 center. Next up is going to be an A320 from Easyjet arriving on the Polderbaan. Bird controller also in the vicinity, K1 in the VDub. A320neo, Easyjet Europcar livery. They should say Europcar with a Europcar sticker on top of it. Otherwise, standard plain Jane livery for Easyjet. She's arriving from Edinburgh and is on the way now for 1 hour and 8 minutes. It is a 4-year-old airplane that had its first flight in September of the year 2018. Here too, first exit, butt shot. Oh, vortices at the tips of the flaps, beautifully visible even on my little 3-inch camera screen. High relative humidity. Nice to see, beautiful. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there is a big bird coming in. 777-300 time, arriving from Cape Town, South Africa. KLM flight 598. She is underway now for more than 11 hours. 11 hours and 21 minutes, almost 10,000 kilometers away, 6,000 miles. 777-300 ER, 11 years old. First flight of this airplane was in June 2012. And Zan says, I'm from Cape Town! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Awesome! Another competitor for the wheelie competition. What I would call a typical KLM landing. Very nice, very nice. Now, the Norwegian will be coming to the centered runway next. Not in a particular special livery. First it has to become visible, which gives me time to reload the ticker, take you through the latest METAR that I just uploaded, or updated I should say. Again, AHAM, Schiphol Airport abbreviation, international code for Schiphol. Today it is the 28th. The time this report was created, 10:25 Zulu times, that is just over half an hour ago. The prevailing wind 11 knots from 260 degrees, and the wind's direction is variable between 230 degrees and 290 degrees. Visibility 9999 means 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 900 feet, broken clouds at 1200 feet, broken clouds at 1600 feet. Let me also turn the camera a little bit for you guys with one hand while crouching behind the laptop and reading up the METAR. Temperature 20 degrees Celsius, dew point is 17 degrees Celsius, the QNH is the air pressure in hectopascals is 1006, and the weather is becoming broken clouds at 1600 feet. Here is the Norwegian 737 plain Jane livery, the lipstick plane as some people have called it, arriving from Oslo, flight 1256, flight time 1 hour and 25 minutes, 7-year-old airplane, first flight February 2016. Alright, now big picture wise, where is the A380? It is flying over Markermeer, going to the mainland again. Quite a few airplanes in line before it. I think it is going to be number 6 for center, if I counted correctly. Also, the group of Coots seems to have climbed onto land and are now lunching. Are they having lunch? I think they might be. Right. So the Emirates A380 I think is going to be number 6 for center. It's now again above mainland, but there are quite a few airplanes before it. In the meantime, we will keep ourselves entertained with the traffic going to both runways. This is the first airplane for the Polderbaan again, KLM flight 1666, arriving from Barcelona. Boeing 737-700, the stubby short one with the relatively big tail. Touching down after an hour and 48 minutes of flying. Just a little bit of reverse thrust being applied. Keeping up the speed. Staying on the runway. Vacate late, sooner at the gate. That's the motto. 13-year-old airplane, first flight November 2009. Oh, and I'm starting to feel a few isolated droplets once again. Still a lot of humidity over here in the air. The 737 coming in for center. Another Boeing 737-700 arriving from Rome. And after that for center is a Turkish A330. It isn't visible yet. We'll first see the next airplane land on Polderbaan. That is another Vueling flight 8353 Airbus A320 arriving from Valencia. Current flight time for this airplane is 2 hours and 3 minutes. It is 10 years old. First flight April 2013. Here too, a butt shot incoming. There we go. Right. Turkish A330 going to center. That is Turkish Airlines flight 1957 Airbus A330-300 arrival from Istanbul, Turkey. 3 hours and 2 minutes of flight time right now under its belt. 7-year-old airplane. First flight February 2016. And again, this is what we are going to see of the A380 in a few minutes as well. Let's see, speaking of which. Okay, so A380 has turned final now. Still in the north. Not sure how quick we are going to pick it up with the clouds being so low. Looks like it is now number 3 for the center runway. First airplane to come to the Polderbaan is this Transavia flight 5624, arriving from Palma de Mallorca, Boeing 737-800, 13 years old. First flight June 2010. And yes, Remco, they do seem to dislike me. Hey! Kathleen, good to see you again. Hope all is well. Just in time for that Vueling just now, probably. We did have a few earlier in the stream. Not a great many today. Don't know why. I think we've had 3 now in total. Right, and in the meantime, an Embraer 190 arriving from Düsseldorf to center. Now this KLM flight 1856. Embraer 190 underway for 30 minutes. Düsseldorf, one of the closest by destinations outside of the Netherlands. I think Brussels, Düsseldorf and London are the nearest by, probably. This is a 14-year-old airplane and a few birds. Why not? Quite a few, actually. 14-year-old airplane, first flight April 2009. Pro in Roblox asks, what is the difference between the 175 and the 190? Well, fuselage length mostly. If you want to see on the outside what the difference is, it is quite easy. The winglet tips are different. The winglets on the Embraer 190 are more vertical and smaller in comparison, and those of the 175 are pointing more outward and are relatively bigger. That is how you quickly can differentiate the 190 from the 175. Obviously the 190 is a bit longer than the 175, but other than that, I don't think there are many differences than that, other than that. Hey Bisnovat, good afternoon, good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well. We're watching Air France flight 1640, one of the many flights between Paris, Charles de Gaulle and Amsterdam. It is an Airbus A321, left 44 minutes ago, now touching down. It is 22 years old. First flight of this airplane was in March of the year 2001. Ooh, 36°C over there in upstate New York. That is warm. Right here, just a few degrees cooler. 19 to 20 degrees C. Much better doable. So this is today's Emirates A380 Super arriving from Dubai, flight 147. It is an Airbus A380-800 standard livery, old standard livery in fact. The new standard livery tail is updated as an emoji for the members, and this is flight 147. Flight time 6 hours and 35 minutes. About to touch down on the center runway once again. Thank you ATC for that. This airplane is 10 years old. First flight was in May 2013. Now we're lucky that visibility is quite good today. Actually quite sharp footage of the A380 on the runway rolling out. Not as warm as it was last week, so not much distortion from the heat. And a photo bombing moment by Ryanair. the 737 and the A380 now on parallel paths, moving away. Double butt shot, although the butt of the A380 is further out. Right. Now, the original plan was to stick around until the A380 has landed. Is there anything interesting coming in on short notice? It doesn't look that way. Not for this runway. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to wrap it up for today. Hopefully I'll go out again tomorrow, weather permitting. I'll have a close look at the weather. but if I find a gap for a couple of hours where it's going to stay dry, I will go out again, looking to go out on each day during the weekend, weather permitting. For now, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here today. I have had a seriously good time and I hope you guys did too. For those of you who are new to the channel and you liked what you saw, if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. It allows you to turn on notifications so that whenever I go live again, you get notified. Also, thank you all to who were so kind to donate super chats, super stickers, super likes, become a member, donate memberships. The support you guys are giving is tremendous and the channel wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thank you all so much for your continued support. I'm looking forward to the next one. Hope to see you all there. For now, I'm going to say thank you all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. Bye for now.